Table I'm drinking at is a $36,000 table, and somehow it's not even one of the most expensive tables I've ever had a drink at. Whether you're going out to eat at a coffee shop, a burger place, or a Michelin star restaurant, the table you eat at is going to be one of the most expensive parts of that meal. And that's because tables take up space, and aside from food, some of the biggest costs for restaurants are staff and rent, and in a lot of places, rent is number 2 after food, which means that that table that you're sitting at is a lot more valuable than that table itself. It's also about the land that that table is sitting on. So let's do an example for a mainstream franchise coffee shop. If it's in an urban area, it's very easy for those land costs to be somewhere in the range of like $1,000 a square foot, especially for commercial properties. So that means that if your table and chairs for say like a standard 4-person table takes up, including the chair space, 36 square feet, you're talking about $36,000 worth of land. And in general, that rent per square foot on that $1,000 square foot property could easily be something like $583 a month. So that means if you multiply that $583 by the size of that table, you're talking about $210 a month in rent just for that one table. So the decision to have a table or not to have a table is very expensive, and those tables can very literally be $36,000 tables, even if the table itself maybe costs a few $100s. And that's why for a lot of restaurant owners, making that decision about whether or not to have tables or how many tables to have can actually make or break the business. It's also a big reason why ghost kitchens really took off, because you didn't even have to pay for retail frontage. You could just pay for a commercial kitchen, saving you a lot of those real estate costs and allowing you to be able to make enough margin to be able to pay the platform fees that a platform like Uber Eats or DoorDash charges. Now, where the dilemma for a lot of restaurant owners comes in is the fact that if you have fewer tables, in theory that means that you might be less likely to get customers. So you don't necessarily want 0 tables always, depending on your location. But at the same time, the more tables you have, the more money, the more sales you have to earn in order to be able to pay for the extra rent costs associated with those tables. And a lot of the time too, the type of people who are occupying your tables might not necessarily be your best type of customers, the customers who are spending the most money. The last thing that you want as an owner is to have tables only to have those tables occupied by someone buying a small coffee who's then going to sit there for an hour. Never mind the fact that more tables also generally means more cleaning and upkeep costs. So the next time you wonder why your favorite restaurant doesn't seem to have a table anymore, or if you're opening your own business and you're wondering whether or not to put a table in there, remember, it's not about the few $100s that the table costs itself, it's about the many thousands of dollars worth of opportunity costs that that table represents.